I built my clinic from the ground up. Now my family wants a share without contributing a cent. The moment I step through my parents' front door, something feels off. The air crackles with tension, like the stillness before a Texas thunderstorm. Mom's smile stretches too wide as she takes my jacket. Dad's handshake lingers a beat too long. My sister Brooklyn practically vibrates with excitement, her eyes darting between our parents with that conspiratorial gleam I've known since we were kids sharing secrets in our shared bedroom. Lily, sweetheart, so glad you made it. Mom guides me toward the dining room where Sunday dinner awaits, her hand pressing against my back with unusual insistence. The table looks perfect, Mom's best spode china, the Waterford crystal that only appears for Christmas and graduations, a centerpiece of fresh peonies from her prized garden. Whatever this is, they've orchestrated it carefully. I slide into my usual seat across from Brooklyn, whose grin reminds me of when she was 10 and knew I was about to discover the plastic wrap stretched across the toilet seat. Dad carves the pot roast with surgical precision while Mom distributes garlic mashed potatoes, honey-glazed carrots, and those buttermilk biscuits I've craved since childhood. That's when I spot it, a manila folder tucked beside Dad's plate, its corner peeking out like a smoking gun. My stomach drops like a stone. How's Healing Touch going? Mom asks, her voice artificially bright. Still putting in those crazy 70-hour weeks? Business is solid. I keep my answer measured, watching Dad's eyes flicker toward that damning folder. We've expanded our patient base by 30% this quarter. Brooklyn snorts delicately. All those patients crammed into that tiny space. Someone really should modernize your business operations. The pieces click together in my mind like a jigsaw puzzle I wish I couldn't solve. My family has never shown genuine interest in my physical therapy clinic, until now. Dad clears his throat, setting down his carving knife with deliberate precision. Lily, we've been discussing the future of Healing Touch physical therapy. The pot roast turns to sawdust in my mouth. Mom jumps in smoothly, their tag team approach clearly rehearsed. Family businesses need family involvement, honey. Your father and I have been thinking about long-term sustainability. It's not a family business, I say carefully. I built it myself. With our emotional support, Dad counters, reaching for the folder like a lawyer presenting evidence. And Brooklyn has developed an excellent proposal that benefits everyone. My sister straightens in her chair, practically preening. I've created a comprehensive business plan to become your practice administrator. I'd handle all the tedious paperwork while you focus on patients. She leans forward, eyes gleaming with barely contained greed. I'm only requesting a 30% profit share, which is incredibly reasonable considering the growth potential I'll unlock. The room spins slightly. This isn't a casual family dinner, it's a calculated ambush, and I'm the prey. My heart pounds against my ribs as unwanted memories flood back like a broken dam. Double shifts at Memorial Hospital's cafeteria during physical therapy school, sending money home for Brooklyn's spring break trips while I survived on ramen noodles in a studio apartment furnished with Goodwill rescues. Midnight study sessions after 16-hour clinical rotations. The $203,000 in student loans that still drain my bank account monthly. I already have an administrator, I manage, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. Mom waves dismissively. But Brooklyn is family. Remember how she charmed Dr. Harrison at your grand opening? He barely noticed anyone else. I remember. Just like I remember Dad dismissing my doctoral degree at graduation, book learning doesn't build practices, Lily, while snapping photos of Brooklyn wearing my cap and gown. I remember Brooklyn's temporary help at reception last summer, which resulted in unauthorized discounts for her college friends and scheduling disasters that left patients waiting hours. May I see your proposal? I nod toward the folder. Dad slides it across the table with a satisfied smile. Already reviewed by my attorney. Just needs your signature. I could start tomorrow. Brooklyn claps her manicured hands. I already have ideas for redecorating your office. That beige color scheme is so dated. I take a deliberate sip of sweet tea, then set the glass down with precision. With slow, measured movements, I reach for my leather briefcase resting beside my chair. Before we discuss this, I say, my voice cutting through their excitement like a scalpel, there's something you need to see. The weighted silence that follows feels like the calm before a hurricane. I unlock my briefcase with a click that echoes like a gunshot in the suddenly quiet room. Dad's confident smile falters as I withdraw an expensive leather portfolio, the one I splurged on after securing the contract with Austin Sports Medicine, a silent reminder of victories achieved without their help or belief. What's this? Dad's voice carries the tremor of a man unaccustomed to surprises. Mom glances nervously between her husband and Brooklyn, her fingers worrying the pearls at her throat. Brooklyn's triumphant expression begins to crumble around the edges as I arrange my documents on the table with the same precision I bring to treatment plans. 3 weeks ago, I begin, tapping the top page where a corporate logo sprawls across expensive letterhead. I signed a comprehensive management agreement with Texas Healthcare Solutions. They're handling all administrative aspects of Healing Touch moving forward. The color drains from Dad's face as he reaches for the papers. You can't make unilateral decisions like this without consulting family, Dad sputters, scanning the contract with growing alarm. Actually, I can. I slide another document toward him, yellow highlighter marking the crucial section. I've highlighted clause 7.2 for your convenience. No family members may be employed in management positions without unanimous board approval. The board consists of myself and 2 partners from THS. Brooklyn's face flushes crimson. You did this deliberately. I made a strategic business decision. I maintain steady eye contact with my sister, based on documented evidence and previous experience. From my portfolio, I extract a thick folder containing patient complaint forms, all meticulously organized by date. The thickness speaks volumes without me opening it. These are from last summer when you helped at the clinic. I don't need to reveal the contents. The weight tells the story. 23 scheduling errors resulting in double-booked treatment rooms. 18 unauthorized discounts to your sorority sisters. 47 billing code mistakes that nearly triggered an insurance audit. Mom reaches across the table, her fingers stopping inches from mine. Lily, honey, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. These weren't learning mistakes. I stand slowly, finding unexpected power in towering over my seated family. These were careless errors made by someone who thought rules didn't apply to her. I withdraw another document, this one created by my accountant. This itemizes the $67,000 in free treatments provided to this family over 4 years. Dad's rotator cuff rehabilitation. Mom's chronic back pain therapy. Brooklyn's sports massages before her beach vacations. The stunned silence feels like vindication. Their expressions shift from entitled certainty to uncomfortable shock, like children caught stealing cookies. While I covered your healthcare needs, I continue, my voice gaining strength. I was eating dollar menu meals to make my loan payments. I worked double shifts at the hospital cafeteria to fund Brooklyn's sorority dues when you claimed finances were tight. My phone buzzes with perfect timing. A text from my clinic manager. Did you tell them yet? We're all rooting for you. The reminder that I'm not alone anymore fills me with warmth. My staff witnessed Brooklyn's summer of chaos, staying late to fix her mistakes while she posted Instagram stories from rooftop bars. They know the truth about Bennett family dynamics. My mentor warned me years ago that family and business mix like oil and water, I say, remembering Dr. Martinez's concerned expression when she found me crying in the supply closet after Dad missed my clinic's ribbon-cutting ceremony. I should have listened sooner. I gather my documents with deliberate precision, sliding them into my portfolio in exact order, just like when I organize treatment supplies before a complex patient session. The methodical movement centers me, providing calm in the emotional storm. We can negotiate, Dad says, his authoritative tone cracking like old paint. 25% instead of 30%. A trial period. I snap my portfolio closed. My clinic isn't your retirement plan. It's my life's work. Mom's hand flies to her throat in theatrical distress. I never thought you'd choose business over family, she whispers, as if I've committed some unforgivable sin. The accusation hangs between us like smoke, revealing everything wrong with their perspective. In their minds, my success exists solely to benefit them. My clinic represents not achievement but opportunity, their opportunity. I'm not choosing business over family, I reply, my voice steadier than my racing heart. I'm choosing self-respect over exploitation. Brooklyn pushes back from the table, her chair scraping against hardwood. You've always been dramatic, Lily. Acting like you accomplished everything alone when we've supported you. Supported me? I raise an eyebrow. When exactly? During graduation when Dad photographed you in my doctoral regalia? When Mom told Dr. Harrison I was just the therapist at my own grand opening? Memories surface like bubbles in champagne, quick, sharp, impossible to stop once they begin rising. My 13th birthday when I received a card while Brooklyn got a new laptop. My high school valedictorian speech where no family members attended because Brooklyn had a cheerleading competition. I zipped my briefcase closed. Your support has always been conspicuously absent when it mattered most. Dad stands now, his height no longer intimidating as it was throughout my childhood. Success has changed you, Lily. Made you cold. No, I meet his gaze without flinching. Success has made me visible, and you don't know how to handle a daughter you can't ignore anymore. I lift my briefcase, surprised by how light it feels compared to the weight I've carried for years. For the first time since entering their house, I take a breath that doesn't hurt my chest. I'll see myself out. I turn toward the door, then pause. Oh, and starting next month, family treatments will be billed at standard rates. Our charity program is reserved for patients who actually can't afford care, not those who simply prefer not to pay. Behind me, I hear Mom's shocked gasp, Dad's muttered curse, and Brooklyn's dramatic sob. But for once, their reactions don't pull me back into the familiar dance of appeasement and guilt. That night in my apartment, I sit curled on my couch, the first piece of furniture I bought brand new, with a glass of wine and my laptop. The city lights of Austin twinkle beyond my windows as memories wash over me like a documentary of my invisible childhood. My 13th birthday falls on a Wednesday in March, unremarkable except for the algebra test I aced and the single Hallmark card propped against my breakfast plate. 3 weeks later, Brooklyn turns 11 and receives a gleaming purple bicycle with rainbow streamers and a basket for collecting neighborhood treasures. I watch from our front porch as she circles the driveway, our parents cheering each wobbly revolution. Lily, grab the camera. Dad calls, tossing me his Nikon. This is a milestone moment. I focus the viewfinder on Brooklyn's radiant face, her blonde hair catching sunlight as Dad steadies the bike seat. Mom waves like she's sending off a princess. Remember when I got my first bike? I ask later, helping with dishes while birthday cake crumbs still dot the granite countertop. She pauses, sponge suspended mid-air. You were such a practical child, Lily. Always preferred books to toys. But I hadn't. I'd circled bicycles in every Walmart catalog for 4 consecutive years. High school graduation brings academic honors, valedictorian, National Merit Scholar, full scholarship to University of Texas. The auditorium buzzes with proud families clutching bouquets and cameras. Mine arrive 8 minutes after my speech, slipping into back row seats as I return to mine. Traffic was impossible, Mom whispers afterward, empty-handed. But we're here for Brooklyn's dance recital tonight. You're coming, right? The pattern continues through college. My Dean's List certificates arrive by mail at the family home, remaining sealed on the kitchen counter for weeks. When physical therapy school graduation arrives, I stand alone after the ceremony until Brooklyn waves from across the quad. There you are. She grabs my mortarboard. Dad wants pictures of me in this. You don't mind, right? For 30 minutes, I watch my parents photograph my sister wearing my hard-earned cap while my honors cords and diploma case remain clutched uselessly in my hands. Book learning doesn't build practices, Lily, Dad says later, returning my cap without meeting my eyes. It's all about people skills. 4 years after graduation, I'm hunched over my laptop at midnight in my clinic's break room, patient files scattered around half-empty coffee cups. Loan statements glare from the screen, $203,000 remaining, monthly payments larger than most people's rent. Meanwhile, I just transferred $800 to Brooklyn for her latest emergency, following her 5th job change in 3 years. My apartment still features roadside furniture finds, a coffee table with uneven legs, a sofa that carries phantom scents no amount of Febreze can eliminate. The sound of my growling stomach echoes in the empty clinic. The bank manager's words still ring from that morning's appointment. Without additional collateral or a co-signer, Ms. Bennett, we cannot approve this expansion loan. I'd nodded politely, adding another rejection letter to my collection, not mentioning that my parents had refused to co-sign but purchased Brooklyn a new Honda Accord the previous month because she needs reliable transportation for job interviews. That night, the treatment table becomes my bed. I curl onto the paper-covered vinyl, wrapping myself in a patient blanket after 18 hours of back-to-back appointments followed by insurance paperwork marathons. The cleaning crew finds me there at dawn, still clutching revenue spreadsheets. 8 months later, when Healing Touch finally opens in its own dedicated space, my parents visit for 20 minutes between Brooklyn's bridal shower and their dinner reservations at the Capitol Grill. "It's nice," Mom says, checking her Rolex, like a real medical office. Dad examines my framed credentials with skeptical eyes. "Remember, it's always about relationships, not degrees." They leave before our small reception begins, missing the champagne toast for my 4-person staff and the ribbon-cutting photo for the Austin Business Journal. But something beautiful happens in their absence. Dr. Martinez, my former supervisor, arrives with a dozen colleagues. Local physicians I'd never met appear with referral pads and genuine interest. The community I'd built through competence and compassion shows up when family doesn't. "This is what success looks like," Dr. Martinez tells me as we watch physical therapists and patients mingle over grocery store cake and sparkling cider. "Built on merit, not connections." That night, locking up alone, I realized something profound. My invisibility had become my superpower. While my family focused on Brooklyn's charm and social media presence, I'd constructed something substantial in the shadows. The turning point comes during a meeting with Blue Cross Blue Shield's toughest claims reviewer, a stern woman known for rejecting most submissions. "Ms. Bennett," she says, sliding my file across her desk, "your documentation doesn't meet our." I interrupt, placing a comprehensive folder before her. "These are revised protocols I developed specifically addressing your latest guidelines. Every treatment code is cross-referenced with your current manual." Her eyebrows rise as she flips through meticulously annotated pages. "You compiled this yourself?" "Every night for 6 weeks. 3 days later, the insurance company approves our entire claims backlog. Word spreads quickly in Austin's tight-knit medical community about the small clinic with exceptional outcomes and flawless documentation. 1 year after that life-changing Sunday dinner, I stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows of my expanded clinic, watching Austin's skyline paint itself gold in the afternoon sun. The transformation mirrors my own metamorphosis, from invisible daughter to respected healthcare entrepreneur. "Dr. Bennett, your 4 o'clock appointment is ready," announces Carmen, my lead therapist, appearing at my side with a patient chart. "Mrs. Rodriguez's final session before discharge." Perfect timing. I smile, genuine warmth flooding my chest. The waiting room beyond bustles with activity, a stark contrast to the cramped space where I began. Patients relax in ergonomic chairs beneath framed community service awards that have joined my original business license on the walls. Mrs. Rodriguez, a grandmother with twinkling eyes and hands weathered by decades of hard work, beams as I enter her treatment room. "There's my miracle worker," she announces to no one in particular. I laugh, setting her chart aside. "The miracle was your dedication to home exercises, Mrs. Rodriguez." "Nonsense," she waves a dismissive hand. "My grandson researched every therapist in Austin. Says you're the absolute best." As I guide her through final stretches, I catch my reflection in the treatment room mirror. The defensive posture and tight shoulders that once defined my stance have melted away. I stand taller now, rooted in self-worth rather than others' approval. Later, I address 3 new graduates in my mentorship program. They gather around our conference table, eyes bright with the same determination that once fueled my midnight study marathons. "The most crucial skill I can teach you isn't a technique," I tell them, perching on the table's edge. "It's recognizing your own value. In healthcare, you'll give constantly. Ensure what you're giving is respected and reciprocated." After they leave, I review our latest pro bono program statistics. Serving underserved patients now comprises 20% of our practice. The percentage would have terrified me last year, but now fills me with profound purpose. My phone buzzes with a text from Victoria, my closest friend and leader of our Women Entrepreneurs group. "Ready for tonight? Your turn to share the full story." Nervous butterflies dance in my stomach. Tonight marks the first time I'll publicly share my complete journey, family struggles included. The prospect both terrifies and liberates me. Before leaving, I check personal email. Mom has sent photos of her book club meeting, her 4th message this week that doesn't demand anything from me. Small steps toward authentic relationship, but genuine ones. Dad's name remains conspicuously absent from my inbox. Some wounds require more time to heal than others. A separate message contains Brooklyn's job announcement, her first corporate position at a marketing firm, completely unconnected to my clinic. The email lacks her usual excessive exclamation points, suggesting growing maturity and independence. As evening shadows lengthen, I arrive at Victoria's home for our monthly gathering. Unlike my parents' dining room with its oppressive formality, this space hums with authentic conversation and mutual support. My chosen family of colleagues and friends passes dishes family style, their laughter a healing balm for old wounds. To Lily, Carmen raises her wine glass, who taught us that establishing boundaries isn't selfishness, it's survival. As applause ripples around the table, I think about the scholarship fund I've established for physical therapy students from challenging backgrounds, the boundary-setting workshop I'll facilitate next month, and tomorrow's launch of our specialized pediatric program. When dinner concludes, I step onto Victoria's back deck. The Texas Hill Country rolls away toward the horizon, steady and immovable, much like the boundaries I've finally learned to maintain. "You look peaceful," Victoria observes, joining me at the railing. I breathe deeply, tasting freedom in the evening air. I finally understand that I can heal my patients without sacrificing myself. Tomorrow I'll treat an elderly veteran with the same compassion I once lavished on ungrateful family members. The difference is, he'll look me in the eye and say thank you, and I'll know I've been truly seen. I'm Lily Bennett, I whisper to the stars beginning to appear overhead, and I heal people who value healing. In the distance, my clinic's lights still glow where my night shift continues serving Austin's community. Built not on family connections or inherited privilege, but on competence, compassion, and the radical act of believing in myself when no one else would. The foundation I've constructed, professional, personal, emotional, stands solid beneath my feet. And for the first time in my life, I'm home.